Well, good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday. We're focusing on this fiction story called Fidgety Fish. Now, I know last week you were retelling rock stars, and you also have been comparing what characters do in different stories and how they relate to each other. But we're going to focus on Fidgety Fish, and I want you just to look at the cover of the story and think, who might this story be about? Where does this story take place? I think you have an idea of where it takes place. And what happened in the beginning, middle, and end? So, ask yourself those questions as we read. You also can ask those questions after we read. Are you ready? Fidgety Fish by Ruth Galloway. Fidgety Fish. This is a way you could think and looking at the pictures to help me decide, where does the story take place? I think we're diving into the ocean. That's what I think. Well, Tiddler is my fish, Fidgety Fish. Tiddler was always fidgeting. Do any of you ever have that problem? I know sometimes I do. He wiggled and he squiggled and he darted and he giggled until his mom got fed up. Go out into the sea and swim till you're tired, but watch out for the big fish. So Tiddler swam out of his cave. Wow, so she warned him about the big fish. That must be another character. He dived and he flipped and he leaped and he dipped. He sped faster than a rocket. He glided gently like a swan, letting the sea currents fan his fins. But he still didn't feel tired. He's got a lot of energy. The sea was full of most interesting things. There were limpets that clung and jellyfish that stung. There were big starfish that didn't do much at all. I think those are some of his friends. Hello, said Tiddler, nudging the starfish gently with his nose. The starfish didn't answer, and he didn't move. A crab sidled by clicking and clacking its big claws. Tiddler wanted to play with it, but the crab just scuttled off and disappeared into the seaweed. Tiddler came to a big, dark cave. Do you think that's really a cave? It looked much more exciting than his cave back home. So Tiddler swam in. No, don't do it. So if we think back to what happened in the beginning of the story, he was fidgety. In the middle, he went out into the sea. I hope this isn't how the story ends. Tiddler was trapped inside the big fish. He trembled and he shivered and he shook and he quivered. Until the big fish's tummy began to feel very rumbly indeed. It rumbled and it grumbled and it turned and it tumbled and it fluttered and it groaned and it mumbled. And it moaned. See all those bubbles? What's happening? Burp. Suddenly, the big fish burped. Whoosh! Out shot Tiddler. Guess all that fidgeting worked. He shot past jellyfish and clickety crab, hiding in the weeds, past the starfish, and straight through the front door. I hope you've used up all that energy, said his mom. But she would have to wait until the morning to hear about it, his adventures, because Tiddler was already fast asleep. So, I I know you're retelling Rock Stars, and you worked on asking questions about where a story takes place, who's in the story, and what happened beginning, middle, and end. Also, back when we were in school, I know you worked on these retelling strips that also can help you with your questions. You may ask yourself, where did this story take place? I can relate it to my book. Where did that story take place? Who are the characters, or who is in the story? And then I can focus on what happened in the beginning, the middle piece, and the end of the story. And how did the problem get solved? And I do have to think, was there a problem in this story? In the beginning, there was a problem. The problem was Fidgety Fish wouldn't stop fidgeting, so his mom sent him out to sea to get rid of some of that energy. So he was exploring and searching through the ocean. And then in the middle of the story, what happened? In the middle of the story, he met all those friends and then found that cave and went in. And then was that the end of the story? Was that the end of Tiddler, our Fidgety Fish? He fidgeted and he fidgeted and then was released and was able to make it home. I'm so happy that his problem got solved. I want you today to draw a picture of one thing that happened in this story and try to ask a question and answer it and then submit it to your teacher. You may ask who was in the story. You may ask what happened in the beginning of the story, middle, or end. So choose one question and answer it and draw a great picture to match. So be ready to dive into another ocean book tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed Fidgety Fish.